something. Brilliant knock from Anderson comes to an end. A brilliant partnership comes to an end. And out comes Max Holden. Another man in good form for Middlesex.
Former opening partnership back together again, Eskenazi and Holden. Middlesex mixing it up at the top of the order at the moment. Holden elevated to 3, having dropped down to play the spinners in the middle, but maybe with Crane on early and Middlesex, well into this innings now in the 10th over. Perhaps that's what's jolted him up the order to say, go and have some fun with the leg spinner. Strokes the first one.
Coming off the back. Good knock against Essex. 85 not out, Max Holden.
There's the first one from Holden. Oh, it nearly carried. Deep square coming around. Did well in the end to parry that back in. Crane knows he was close. Nearly a second in his second over. Anderson's gone. Stumped. 57. Holden nearly following here. Big step across. Really looks to get all of it. 2 set back. 1 was enough to stop the boundary. Very nearly to take the catch as well. 10 done, 109 for 1.
Good comeback from Mason Crane. Going for 16 in his first over and then hit for the boundary. First ball of the second, but he's dragged it back well. Just 3 runs and the wicket coming from the remaining 5 balls of that second over. And a much needed wicket for Glamorgan.
Corvin scampers in and Holden scoops over the top. And they'll come back for a second. It's tight. He's home. Woo. That was tight. Dive required from Holden. And once he got that dive in, and well timed it was. And he was always giving himself a very good chance of being safe. Dive more often than not gets you close. He went fast on the first, although he was looking over his shoulder somewhat. And there he goes. Boom. Just over that line. Just a single. That'll be a wide. Dragged down by Gorvin.
The plan again to keep it outside off stump. Gorvin just pushing it a little too wide. Eskenazi 46 and 25 deliveries.
Swing and a miss. But stepping across Eskenazi, so not a costly miss on that occasion. Go from Gorvin, wide, a little costly, but no boundaries yet. 3 balls to go. Can he get out of the over? It's chipped up into the air. Cover set back, extra cover straight of it. Glorious conditions, glorious scenes. Generally is at Lord's. Oh, that gets through. Extra cover, went for the spectacular, long off. Comes around. They have a couple, but how close was this to a big chance? Let's have a look. We'll come back to that in a moment. Here's Holden. Picks up a single to end the over. 116, 117 for 1. Here's that replay. Extra cover going for the spectacular. How close was it? Oh as the flying fielder. The flying Welshman. Might have just got something on it. To pace off slightly. Fingertips perhaps.
It's a good over from Andy Gorvin again. Just changing his pace up. You're seeing that replay as well, just hiding the ball as he's running up to bowl. Grew up in the Hampshire setup, Hampshire Academy, Hampshire second 11. Before moving to Glamorgan, making his way into the first 11.
Oh, up in the air. Fine catch. Really good catch. Guess who? Marnus Labuschagne. Reliable hands in the deep from the Australian. Holds on, gets down and underneath, gets 2 paws to it and holds on, and Holden has to go. 7 from 7 for the Middlesex left-hander. He'll have to drag himself off. Anderson and Eskenazi have had some fun. Not to be tonight for Holden, who's been one of the key players. Just a slap, look at that. Really does well. Once that ball hits the hands, that's half the job really with a catch like that, because your elbows are still to hit the ground, then the hands judder down as well. Jack Davies in at 4, right-handed, left-handed. Is that a little bit of the influence of Adam Gilchrist from years ago? Keep the right-handed, left-handed combination in T20, keep mixing up the order just to make sure it's always right-handed, left-handed to unsettle the bowlers, not allow them to find their line and length consistently. 117 for 2 then. Davies chops down on that one for a single to get off the mark.
Mason Crane picking up his 100th wicket in T20s with that wicket of Max Holden. He's become a very good bowler, Mason Crane, especially in the limited over format.
Little chip from Eskenazi. They'll think about 2, yes, and then no. Rightly so. Marnus Labuschagne coming around. No need for a risk at the moment. Middlesex are in a good position. Don't need to throw another one away right now. Davies can probably have the freedom here to get going. It's the 12th over of the innings. They're only 2 down, but Eskenazi's the man who needs to be there probably at the end right now. Now that is a swing on an edge, but it lands safely. Short third coming around to collect. Good evening to Don Topley. Reese's dad, he's tuned in from Barbados, listening and watching from Barbados. I've come in too hot and too humid. Not for the first time, Don. Big swing in the air and a catch, and Eskenazi's out. No 50 for the skipper. He's gone for 48 from 29. Probably didn't need to do that right now. Davies 2 from 2 at the other end. Middlesex wanting to keep going. It'll be a couple of new batters at the crease and an opportunity for Glamorgan to settle this down. 120 for 2.
Yeah, he's disappointed with himself there, Eskenazi. So he probably didn't need to do that. He's offering Labuschagne a second catch of the match. Just been starved with the strike a little bit, Eskenazi, in recent overs. And looking to just keep that scoreboard moving. Got a good strike on it, but it's a long boundary. Couldn't quite clear the rope. Mason Crane has two wickets in the over. And Glamorgan back into this innings, 120 for 3. Ryan Higgins comes to the crease.
Single to end the over. Higgins off the mark first ball. He'll have the strike. 2 wickets in the over. Max Holden and Stephen Eskenazi falling, and Middlesex will have to just take stock for a moment here, you'd have thought. Just let these two get in. You don't want to all of a sudden be 1-2-1 for 5 at this stage, and all the good work's undone. Sun belting down this evening. It's been cloudy this afternoon. Change of ends for Marnus Labuschagne. None for 5 from 1 at the nursery end. Asked to change up here to the pavilion end. There's the reverse. He got outside the line of off. So not out from former spinner Ian Blackwell. If there was going to be any sympathy for the bowler, it would be from a former spinner. Outside the line of leg, I should say, because of course it was a reverse. Chips for a single. I think about 2, but on the bounce it's picked up and returned pretty quickly, so no need to risk at this stage. Middlesex just need to recover slightly, get it through to the 15th, maybe even the 16th, and then really go again. Oh! Labuschagne let that one slip out.
Wide again from Labuschagne. Just really trying to keep that ball outside off stump, away from that shorter leg side boundary.
Higgins swinging and missing now. Stands up tall to it, drags it, just a single. Lost the set batter. Eskenazi, it's difficult for these two now. They've got to find their way in, but they've got to find those boundaries still as well. Reverse. Deep square. It's the end of the 13th, 128 for 3, so these two fresh to the crease, yet to find a boundary yet, the pair of them. The last one came up a good few overs back now. It was the first ball of the 10th over, so we've had 3.5 overs since a boundary. In that time, 3 wickets. So the boundary so since the fall of Anderson, there's not been a boundary.
Just a little mini rebuild here for Middlesex. As the new batters get up to speed with the pitch, with the bowling. At the rate they were going at, they'll still be looking for plus 200 here, Middlesex. Running, well placed, well timed from Higgins. Jack Davies was quick to get back to the danger end.
first hard, but I think they realised pretty quickly though it's only ever going to be one. First game of the day today, Sunrisers hit 116 against South East Stars. They knocked it off with plenty of overs and plenty of wickets to spare. Boundaries weren't really there for Sunrisers on what was a pretty big playing surface. What they could have done better in that first innings was just find the gaps a little bit more for the twos rather than the singles. And that's something Middlesex here, just threw off the first 3 balls this over. Every ball has to be out of the ground. Oh, that was a horrible little slide and slip. Colin Ingram. Hope he's doing alright. Heard from his dad when we were down doing the game in Glamorgan. Tuned in tonight. Hope you're well, sir. Thanks for the messages down in that one. Centuries from Labuschagne and Ingram in that defeat at Sophia Gardens for Glamorgan. One of the men who racked up the century. There was no Mir Hamza in that game, who was rested. The 2 other overseas being the Australian and the South African. Swept up into the air and out. Juggling catch, but taken in the end. Byram holds on, bounced up out of the bucket for a moment. But smiles for Gorbin, his first wicket. Wicket at Lords. And disappointment for Davies. He heads back. Middlesex lose their 4th wicket. 14 overs done, 133 for 4.
Been a really good comeback from Glamorgan in his last few overs. Andy Gorbin just holding that ball outside. Davies off stump. Him to drag it across, looking for that shorter boundary. Can only find the hands mid-wicket. Eddie Byram taking the catch. Just looked like runs have become a little harder since those 2 set openers were dismissed.
Nothing better than drying up the boundaries, drying up the runs, the wickets. That's where Middlesex perhaps got themselves in between a rock and a hard place here. They had such a good start, they wanted to keep it going, but it's cost them. Mason Crane 3 for 28. Gorbin in on the act now. Luke Holman elevated up the order to number 6. Good to see. He made his. Well, he really stood out as a young player. Clearly, all-rounder of some potential. You can see his ability with the ball, but with the bat, indeed, in T20s. COVID year, he broke through. Just a single. Good adaptation there from Higgins gives Holman the strike. Close to the stage now, Middlesex, close to it, where they might have to start to get going again, but they do need to be careful of that wickets column.
Sticking with that left and right hand partnership. Holman, left-hander, replacing Jack Davies. Joe Cracknell still in the hutch.
Single taken. Oh, step across, toe ends. Got something on it anyway. Higgins had to. For a moment, I thought he was through. Down to Hooton. Let's have another look.
Yeah, just outside the off stump. Higgins playing a bit of football rather than cricket. Looking for that scoop. It's well bowled from Van der Hooton.
Wonder whether the umpire signalled the wide there. I think he was just tossing the coin from hand to hand, or the stone hand to hand.
Done a really good job of bringing that run rate down of the away side. So we see a replay. And Houghton, just inside the line.
Low full toss, bunted backward a point by Higgins. If he gets going, that Middlesex run rate will be up and soaring again. And that is the first boundary since Martin Anderson's wicket fell. 2 balls before the first wicket was the last boundary. It's got that through. Now it's down the hill, which always will just push it that little bit faster, that little bit further for the fielders to chase. And they'll get a couple. 8 off the over. Better one for Middlesex, getting up towards that run rate again, which they've been setting. It's been tumbling. Stretch from the Anderson wicket through until the boundary in this over. Hazy sunshine on a Thursday evening in NWA. Top tier of the grandstand shut. Lower tier of the tavern. Top tier of the Compton shut as well for this one. But a good hubbub in at Lord's. More than a hubbub. Yes, no. No was the right answer. So 4 for 25 was the collapse from Anderson's wicket. First ball of the 10th over was the previous boundary. That's heaved and hammered. And it's into the stand. Is it held? Well, someone's emerged with it. Don't know if she can quite claim the catch. Good arm though.
Massive shot, Luke Holman. He hits a big ball. Snog sweep over mid-wicket. Just bounced off those advertising boards and into the crowd. Tin hats needed. Good cricket from Holman. Single out to deep cover. And he's up and running nicely. Such a game of momentum's T20 cricket. Those 2 set batters, Eskenazi and Anderson. First up, momentum was all with Middlesex. Glamorgan pulling it back.
Now they'll look for overthrows here. I tell you what, he was putting on the handbrakes there, Higgins, confident that he was going to ground that bat, whether the throw hit or not. But they picked up the overthrow, backed up out there. McElroy out in the boundary. Just 150 up for Middlesex. 9 off the first 4 balls of this over. Can Gorvin get out of it? And look for 2 again here. And this is what we were talking about in the first match of the doubleheader here at Lord's today. There's a big, big boundary to the grandstand. There's 2 to be had there all the time. Get it right. Just place it in between the 2 out there. If the bowler adjusts or the fielder adds up on that side and that adjusts, then it's runs to be had to the shorter boundary. Now has he gone through him? He has! Higgins driving a length ball and Gorvin has his second. Line and length bowling, nipping away down the slope at Lord's. Classic cricket in the T20 from Gorvin and Glamorgan. And Higgins has to depart. 18 from 16. He's given it a bit of a jolt for Middlesex. 4 overs to go, 152 for 5.
The last ball of Andy Gorvin's spell, and he picks up big wicket of Ryan Higgins. Very good glove work again from Chris Cook, standing up. Just down the slope from Gorvin. Little outside edge. Big wicket for Glamorgan. Joe Cracknell comes to the crease. It's a good time for Cracknell to come to the crease. Explosive player.
Yeah, dropping down the order, Cracknell. He was the number 3 for a little while. And the opener down to 7. Is that a reflection of the right-handed, left-handed? Holman's gone up to 3. Higgins then, a big name player for Middlesex, coming in 4. The fall of the left-hander, it was Holman who came in once again there. So maybe it was a change-up, a shake-up in that way, but he's got 4 overs to play with. It's Holman on strike first, though. And it's onto the legs from Douthwaite. They'll take a single, so over to Cracknell.